Let's paint a very familiar picture. You're scrolling through your phone or computer on your social media of choice. Image after image, video after video, you are inundated with posts featuring the most perfect and beautiful people by our current standards. A small nose, tiny waist, perfect hair, snatched eyebrows, striking eyes, defined jaw and cheekbones, perfect skin, long neck, toned figure. Every detail is perfection. All of them look at you with the same blank expression. It's a silent agreement between the two of you. It says they are beautiful, they are happy, and they have achieved what you never will. They have everything: money, love, friends, success, happiness. Not only are they beautiful, they're paid to be beautiful. They simply placed themselves on an image, sent it to the world, and it was deemed perfect enough to monetize. You post a picture of yourself, and barely even your friends notice. You can't help but compare yourself to every single person that scrolls by. A steady sense of discomfort creeps over you, so you look for something else. Books, beautiful people are recommending them to you. Music, beautiful people are performing it. Fine, you can't get away, so you keep scrolling. Every image says something, so what do these ones say? I am beautiful, you are not. Why don't you do something about it? Tutorials. You've got to fix yourself now. Gua sha, makeup, clothes, body type classifications, weight loss, Pilates, face yoga, chemical peels, lash lifts. You're typing in how to be beautiful in the YouTube search bar, and people are only talking about signature scents and smiling, and all of them are already beautiful anyway. You try it all, every product in every color, even with a full face of makeup, even after you've blown out your hair, dieted and exercised for months, worn every piece of clothing matched to your kibby type and color season. It's not enough. You're still not perfect. So you try to take down the veil a little. You look at r/Instagram reality. And sure enough, all these people have flaws just like yours. Acne, stretch marks, nose humps, small lips, facial hair, hip dips, stomach fat, and it helps for a while. Until it doesn't. Some transformations aren't just photoshopped. They're permanent. There are celebrities who used to have your nose, your hooded eyes, your stomach bulge, your double chin, your big forehead, your buccal fat, and they got rid of it all. Okay, so plastic surgery. That's an option. You could attack the problem one flaw at a time. Pump up your lips with some filler, get some forehead Botox, an eye lift, liposuction, even remove a couple ribs, and then you'd be the girl blankly staring in the photos. You'd be perfect and beautiful, but you're just an ordinary person. You don't have a production company paying for your jaw shave and brow lift. You can't afford implants, let alone the upkeep every decade. You have to spend your money on your education, your basic needs, your family, your bills. You can't afford to take a month off to recover from a rhinoplasty. You don't have access to the best doctors, so your risk of complications will go down. Chances are you'd get botched because you'd have to go for a cheaper option. So now what? Nothing. You carry on with your life. You scroll. And every day, every impossibly perfect face chips away at you more and more. We may see these beautiful people as having it all, living the dream we want to be in, but having your entire career based off of your external appearance, having to keep up with and even surpass these ever-changing beauty standards, having to completely avoid aging or risk being kicked out of your field the minute you hit 30, it's not really such a perfect fantasy. Beauty overstimulation affects everyone negatively, even the people in the photos themselves. Here's a quote from Ted Chiang's Stories of Your Life and Others. Evolution gave us a circuit that responds to good looks. Call it the pleasure receptor for our visual cortex. And in our natural environment, it was useful to have. But take a person with 1 in a million skin and bone structure, add professional makeup and retouching, and you're no longer looking at beauty in its natural form. You've got pharmaceutical-grade beauty. Biologists call this supernormal stimulus. Our beauty receptors receive more stimulation than they were evolved to handle. We're seeing more beauty in one day than our ancestors did in a lifetime. And the result is that beauty is slowly ruining our lives. It's like poison, essentially. It disturbs you, makes you feel uncomfortable and insecure and depressed and anxious. And you know that, but you can't help but look. It's addictive and captivating. So, what can we replace it with? Art. Man needs music, literature, and painting. All those oases of perfection that make up art to compensate for the rudeness and materialism of life. Fernando Botero. In the midst of lifeless, beautiful faces, mindless content, and advertising, we go to art for true substance. In film, theater, literature, music, painting, sculpture, you find real expression. Our perception of beauty has been corrupted by excessive stimuli online. So, where can we go to heal and restore our image of true beauty? In art. We love to look at beautiful things. It's in our nature, but we get to choose the beauty we consume. Every piece of information we perceive on a daily basis shapes how we think. If we are constantly looking at these perfect people online, our internal beauty standards solidify more and more to match them. And when we look in the mirror and we don't meet our own expectations, it's distressing to say the least. Think about how you feel when you look at a beautiful piece of art. Are you focused on the plumpness of the subject's lips? Are you looking for a ski-slope nose and a tiny waist? Do you feel disheartened at the superiority of the subject's beauty in comparison to yourself? Most likely not. In art, we appreciate the color, the emotion, the lines and shapes, the brush strokes, the composition. Imperfections make the art feel more human, more full of life, and therefore more beautiful. We see flaws and we recognize ourselves in them. Art is beautiful because it reflects life and the fullness of it. Art can find beauty in anger, in violence, in despair. Art can find beauty in love, innocence, tenderness. Art can find beauty in horror and hedonism. Art can find beauty in reality and in dreams. And of course, art can find beauty in every single feature you might hate about yourself. Art can take the shame we feel in our physical and internal being and turn it into something beautiful, simply because it is alive. Art and love are the same thing. It's the process of seeing yourself in things that are not you. Chuck Klosterman. I'm going to get a bit personal for a moment. I started art modeling about 1 year ago. And let me tell you, I have my own fair share of insecurities. I do not fit traditional beauty standards, and this is something I'm at peace with. But art modeling has been something that has completely opened my mind to my appearance in the context of art. If you have the opportunity to sit as an art model someday, I'd really recommend that you take it. It's a completely unique and introspective experience. One thing I've noticed as an art model is that the things I like the least about myself are the things artists find the most beautiful in my face. I have a nose quite typical for other women of Hispanic descent like myself. It has a bump and droops a little at the tip. It's definitely not a little pixie nose, and comments I received in high school about it definitely made me aware that it wasn't the beauty standard. However, without fail, almost every artist that has painted me has found my face striking and visually interesting because of my nose. I've had innumerable compliments on my side profile, something I avoid looking at all costs. In comparison, I've never really heard anything about my more traditionally beautiful features from the artists that have painted me. For example, I think my body has always met that common standard of thinness. I'm slim and petite and pretty well proportioned, but no artist has really commented on this. They don't highlight it or try to draw attention to it in their paintings. Rather the opposite. The unique shapes in my face take the focus in these paintings. When I look at myself from the lens of social media, when I view myself by today's standards and trends, I feel empty. I feel lackluster and inadequate. I enjoy the art I add to myself, the fashion and the makeup, but myself on my own, it evokes nothing. But when I look at myself in the context of art, I see the life in myself. I recognize my own humanity. I see the consciousness behind my eyes, the memories that lie there. I see the blush in my cheeks, the curve of my nose, the slender shape of my fingers. I see elegance. I see a deeply flawed, emotional, and complex being. I see beauty. Art is restoration. The idea is to repair the damages that are inflicted in life, to make something that is fragmented, which is what fear and anxiety do to a person, into something whole. To heal from noise pollution and excess stimuli from the city, we return to nature. To heal from processed food, we consume whole foods from the earth. To heal from advertising and short-form entertainment, we go to film and music and literature. And to heal from the overstimulation of curated beauty online, we go back to the beauty of art. Find what inspires you, what moves you. These paintings say much more than a simple blank stare. They're not selling you a product or a serum. They're not encouraging your urge to get plastic surgery. They each have their own story, and what they invoke in us is something much more healthy and productive than the fear and insecurities we get from our endless scrolling. If the scenario in the beginning of this video resonated with you, I'd like you to challenge yourself to take the following steps. Number 1, remove the negative stimuli. Number 2, replace the negative with positive. The paintings I've shared in this video are ones that I find beautiful, but I encourage you to find visual art that speaks to you. You may have a taste for a particular artist, era, or art movement. Find and follow pages that post these works of art, either from the past masters or present artists. It's great to search for smaller artists too, and to provide support to their page. There are so many talented artists in the world today that you are bound to find something that moves you in a profound way. Number 3, detox. Go and experience the visual beauty of real life. Go to art galleries, hike in nature, walk on the beach, admire old architecture, look at the flowers in a botanical garden. Spend time with the people you love. Look at them and see the art and the life within them. I'm going to finish with a personal anecdote. Several years ago, I spent a month in Valencia in Spain studying Spanish. On my first day, the school took us on a historical tour throughout the city. In the middle of the city center, I looked up at El Torre de Miguelete for the first time. I took in the movement of the statues, the softness of the lines, the emotion, passion, and life contained in this lifeless stone. I imagined the hands of the genius who shaped this, the mind of the person within, the wonder that is creation, and I burst into tears. It was the first time in my life that I had ever cried because something was so beautiful. Beauty does not have to be painful and distressing. Beauty can be profound and moving and fulfilling. You only have to look for it in the right place.